Hello friends, just a quick brief update for the ZRX's fans among us, the 0x fans, ZRX, ZRX. Happy birthday America, by the way, happy Independence Day. Let's just take a quick brief look at this and have a little bit of context on where the price action is just now, because I'm sure there's a lot of people that are trading this asking questions really at the moment. Now, in terms of, we spoke about the highs up here, how we expected back when we did this before, we did a few things, we spoke about different areas that the prices could go to. Pardon me. And you can see quite clearly that we had the golden pocket retrace area come in here and be hit in terms of this move up. Now what we have on the go, if we were to look at this in terms of the Fibonacci's sort of idea on the way down the way going towards our lows, then I'll just drag this over to the right so you can see where the current prices are. That we've actually come up towards we've come up above the 236, the 382, the 50%, and right into that golden pocket area again there. So some people are looking for a bit of context. I think this, of course, is 0x versus Bitcoin, by the way, if you're wondering, and around these prices of the sort of 4,500 Satoshi level where we had a turnaround at the prices just there, moving down below this 50% area and actually closing down below it, just to sort of do multiple Fibonacci sort of just because I'm not going to go on all day in this episode, just a brief one. I wanted to do it just using sort of this because this provides an awful lot of context without an awful lot of words, which is great. Just to look at this then in terms of the most recent price action, should we want to see where this could go to from a negative point of view, having broken below the 236 currently. So if the prices don't go back above 4,400 Satoshis, let's call it, then you could easily be looking down towards 4,150, 3,975, and 3,795 to, let's say, 3,700 or so area for the golden pocket retrace, if you were to get 3 golden pockets in a row in terms of this price action. But of course, let's look at this as well and say, what have we got on the go? What other things could there be that you're like not particularly great or not particularly or not particularly bad in terms of the price action? Well, if this is a high and this is a high, this is a high and this is a lower high, well, we've got a higher high in price action. That means that things are, of course, bearishly divergent here between these two. So it makes sense that we've dropped down below the 236. If the prices don't turn around at 382 at this 41,000 area, you'd also have a lower low coming in here compared to this. So we can look and see how that shapes up. Will it just ultimately add up to being the oscillators resetting and taking a breather? That could even happen from where we are now. Of course they could. But what will we see in terms of the bigger picture? Going down to the 1 hour time frame then as well, looking for any sorts of patterns or anything like that. If the prices come down, well, we don't have any distinct patterns on the go here at the minute. This doesn't line up, not quite high enough here for this to come in as a sort of Adam and Eve really overall in terms of this. It's not a twin peaky type pattern either. Looking to the left as well, is there anything? No, not really. So, but we do see that there was this divergence between this high here and the most latest one overall. We've still come in with higher lows. This is where I would say if you're managing your thing, I'm not a financial advisor, now that's financial advice. If you're managing your risk, you could be looking towards this area just in terms of the lower time frames at 4,200 Satoshis in terms of managing them. If it goes on beyond that, we're sort of setting in lower lows and we could look towards lower targets. Sure, we could. Turning around in terms of prices, I want to see it going back above this previous high at 43,676 so that we could maybe then look towards positivity towards the upside. Of course, right? I'm just going to jump over to the dollar prices and do some sort of similar looks at things, but I'll maybe not use the same. Yeah, I'll not use the same sort of Fibonacci retracements and all the rest of it because that's kind of enough. In terms of this one, I'll do it slightly differently. I'll just look towards the horizontals and try and find out a couple of key inflection points in the market where we've got a lot of touches or whatever. Now, most recently, and looking towards the left, you can see here, and then recently here, and where we are just about now, you could put in a line around about there and say this is going to be a key area for us in terms of the inflection in the market at around about that 38 cents level. Going up and beyond that, of course, as well, we can put in our most recent highs, which actually came in and did a twin peaky high here in terms of these timeframes. When you look at the wicks on this, having actually come up here and put in, while it is a higher high in terms of the hourly time frame and everything else, the wicks are just equal there on that one, and that's kind of interesting as well. So you'd need to see the prices actually open and close above 42 cents cents or 43 cents for you to be able to be bullish on this from a broader perspective than where we have now. And from the broader perspective, then just drawing this in and or just like, you know, bringing in some more price action, what are we looking to? Well, we'd have to say this area here, there does seem to be a number of wicks and whatever else in and around that area, that this would be the next sort of key area towards the top side at 46 or 47 cents. Towards the downside, if we do break past this 38 cents level, what I'd be looking to would be in terms of the horizontals and whatnot would probably be just this one here where we've got a few touches, you know, a bit of confluence, a bit of inflection happening around this area, and you can see that while this came in for a high, it was actually turned out to be, you know, a bit of a higher high on the or a you know, a lower high here as part of a slight downward trend for this period until such times as it turned around. You know, so in and around this area, we came up, we touched it, pulled back, came up, moved above it, came back to retest it. So there's various things in around there, and that comes in at about 35 or 36 cents, you know, so that would be another 10% down from where it is now, should that actually happen. So those are the key areas for us right now. Just where we are is, of course, asking a couple of questions about whether or not it would turn around from this area here. Looking at the 24-hour time frame then for sort of a bit more context in terms of trends and whatnot, we're actually doing quite well overall, funnily enough, because we came in here and we put in these highs and then we dropped back down again, and that was all part of a movement towards the upside, which came in without any sort of divergence here on the 24-hour time, on the dollar time frame, with this high compared to the previous high here, compared to the previous highs before then. So that's okay, everything's good, and then we can look towards these horizontal lines that I've got already drawn in terms of whether or not we'd be moving up beyond that on the daily time frame and putting it in without any divergence. Now, should things actually close here where they are and be slightly higher than the previous high here at 38 cents, you know, we're at 39 at the minute, but not manage to move into this bullish control zone properly and get rejected from the bullish control zone here on this pass, then we'd be asking a question about whether or not this is actually coming in with a bit of bullish or bearish divergence. In which case, I suppose we could add in one more sort of horizontal line to this area and say that if we go down below this in terms of the 24-hour time frame at 30 cents, then we've kind of broken a little bit of this structure here on this trend, and we'd actually be able to look towards this and say, well, we had a high there, and then we had somewhere in amongst this area a lower high followed by a lower low. So this can be the determinant area for us for trends. And that's going to do us. I was asked to do this by one of the Rocky Outcrop opticians in the world. So this is just a brief look at ZRX versus the Bitcoin and US dollar prices. If you yourself have got a coin out there that you're particularly interested in, you want to have another look at, so you can get a bit more context in a FOMO-free, greed-free way that has no bias on it, that looks at both potential outcomes for either direction and helps you make more informed decisions with your trading, then of course get in touch. I'm not a financial advisor, none of this is financial advice, but it is a good enough episode, so I would really appreciate it if you rewarded that effort with a subscribe and came back to watch more, because on a daily basis I publish Bitcoin, Chainlink, Tezos, and Ethereum videos, and I often do bonus coins. There's a Discord community that you can join. It's full of friendly people. Really, the best people out there are part of the Rocky Outcrop optician community, and I massively appreciate you taking the time just now to watch this with me. I sincerely do. So, as always, thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you in the next episode. I've been Rocky Outcrop. You've been Rocky Outcrop opticians. I'll see you again soon.